Now is our time for meditation, so I invite you, if you're comfortable, to get things out of your lap and those feet firmly planted on the floor. Close your eyes if you're comfortable, and let's begin taking in some deep breaths, breathing in and breathing out. Feel your body relaxing as the chair fully supports you. This is your time now to breathe and relax and let go. In the stillness, we remember God is here. Love is here. That Christ's Spirit lives within us. So I invite you to bring into your mind someone or something that you may still be holding a judgment about or some pain about. You don't need to relive the whole thing, just bring up the face or the situation. And now in the breath, breathing in deeply, see that Christ light in you. So huge and so bright. And see that magnificent light melting away that grudge, that resentment, whatever disconnect you have with this other person, that story that you've been carrying around and reliving over and over again. And this day we choose to just release it and let it go. We see only the light of the Christ in our heart space. There's no room for anything that is not God there. And so we say to this person, I release you, I bless you, I set you free, and I am free. Feel the weight of that lifting out of your heart. Now I invite you to turn that same light more inwardly toward yourself. Forgive yourself for any moments of fear, regret, self-judgment. Because that spirit within only sees the love that you are. And so feel that light melting any self-doubt, self-judgment, fears. And we do this now as we enter a moment of silence. Affirm silently, I forgive myself. I accept myself. I am whole and I am free. Now take a deep breath in and imagine that light that is so magnificent in your heart space going out from you, blessing everyone here, around you. See it going out to the community and out to the world. blessing our world. Peace flows through us. Love flows through us. We share that light with our world. Forgiveness sets us free to live in the fullness of God's love. And for this thought, we are so grateful for this knowing. And now we begin to bring our attention back into this room with such gratitude and hearts filled with peace. We say thank you, indwelling Spirit, that this is so. And so it is, and so we allow it to be. Amen. Whenever you're ready, just open those beautiful eyes. So, I love Alan Cohen, the Course in Miracles guy. He wrote The Deep Breath of Life. And he has a story in there that is so magnificent. He tells a story about a massage therapist who is like on contract to go into hospitals and do work as a part of the PT team. And so Irene is her name, and Irene has an appointment with Miss Harmon, and she has been told that Miss Harmon's doctor's prognosis is not very good. In fact, they really don't think she's going to be on the planet a whole lot longer, but she goes and she does her work with Miss Harmon, and then she asks her, "What is the greatest pain in your life, Miss Harmon?" And she said, "Oh, it hurts me so deeply that I haven't spoken to my sister in 20 years. And she said, "Well, why is that?" And she said, she broke into tears, and she reported how it had been truly hard to hold a grudge against her sister whom she truly loved. She couldn't even really remember how it all started. And she began to cry. And after that, Irene hugged her, and she seemed to feel a little bit relieved by all of that. The two women embraced, and then Irene went on to do her work, and then a week later she came back to the hospital, and she got to Miss Harmon's room, and she was fully dressed, makeup on, her bag packed on her bed. And she said, she looked pretty good. She said, "Where are you going?" She said, "Home, darling. They just did a set of x-rays, and there's no sign of disease in my body." Yeah. So, Alan says, when we hold on to anger, hurt, or resentment, we only hurt ourselves. By withholding love from another, we deny it to ourselves. So to free another is to free ourselves. So we have this amazing theme that we're doing for the month of November. I am grateful. I am alive in the energy of gratitude. And so we're grateful for this small group study that we call Adventures in Faith, where we're going into each other's homes and we're meeting on Zoom with Kathy and having all this wonderful time. I spent 2 hours with this last group because they did 2 chapters in Port Charlotte. It was a really fun thing. It's so wonderful because when you're in small group, you get to know each other. You get to know each other at depth, and then you will be friends forever. You'll have friends for life. So this, I want to give, because we got a few new people. This is the 5th week of our Adventure in Faith, which is a 7-week series. We're studying the book called Sacred Abundance, written by Robin Ryder. And so the first principle, quick review, is what? Put God first. The second one is, in God all things are possible. The third one is, the universe listens. That was a good one, wasn't it? And then last week we did, loosen your grip, lighten your load. How soon we forget. Lighten your load. So that was last week. So this week we get to Open our hearts today to the healing power of forgiveness. Because releasing the past, and we want to release it and we want to step into our divine freedom. We want to be free of those things that are holding us down. The author actually calls this chapter Giving Up Hope. And I could not make a talk title out of that. It was not resonating with me. But you have to understand where she's coming from. You're giving up hope for the idea of a better past. Right? You're wanting to let go of what was. So the unity teaching that we're working with here is that forgiveness is not about condoning or forgetting. It's about releasing that energy, because we are all energy, and we're carrying that energy in us when we're holding a grudge. We carry that pain with us. So we have to release the energy of that pain that binds us. And so we have to restore our awareness that we are one with God. We have to come back and claim our own divinity, and with all of life, essentially. Forgiveness is a tool for spiritual liberation and not moral obligation. So you know this scripture. We're in Matthew chapter 18 today, and those of you that are new, we interpret the Bible metaphysically, not literally. And so Matthew 18, 21 through 23. Then Peter came and said to him, Lord, if another member of the church sins against me, how often should I forgive? As many as 7 times? Jesus said to him, not 7 times, but I will tell you 70 times 7. So there's a lot of significance in the number, right? 70 times 7. That symbolizes an unlimited willingness that we have because we want to release that which no longer serves us. Forgiveness is a state of consciousness. It is a way of living our lives. It's not a single act. We have to do it every day, y'all. Every single day. So metaphysically, this indicates that we are to forgive as often as we feel offended, in order to keep our mind clear and sort of unruffled and troubled by what we're holding. The mental outlook that is essential to full forgiveness is that of humility and patience and impartiality, in which love is the dominant factor, because Fillmore said, love is the healing harmonizer of the planet. There is nothing that you cannot heal with enough love. So practicing the gentle art of forgiveness is really vital to our well-being. It's vital to our health. Forgiveness is as practical as elementary arithmetic, because it's part both science and art, and it follows the infallible law. And we know our spiritual laws work. True forgiveness is a flooding of God's love into our hearts, as we did in meditation today, so that we feel no malice toward anyone about anything. Jesus stressed the point that in order to receive forgiveness, we have to keep that channel open by always being ready and willing to forgive. Remember, Charles Fillmore said every night before he goes to bed, he forgives everybody during the day, or himself for anything he might have thought or said or done during the day. So this may be what we want to say, that we release the past and we open our hearts to peace. Don't you want more peace? I do. I want peace to be my number one priority. So H. Emily Cady's book, it's an old book, God, a Present Help. I really do like it. She says in that book, no man can possibly radiate darkness while he himself is full of light. The everlasting light abides in us, but if we shut it off so others cannot receive it, we, by the same mental act, shut it entirely out of our own consciousness. We do that to ourselves. When we withdraw ourselves from our brothers in any way, particularly when we retain toward anyone an unforgiving spirit, we cut off by strangulation, as it were, all the invisible arteries and nerves through which constantly flow into us life, love from God and our source. Wow. Do you see how powerful that is and how powerful this practice is? So what happens if we harbor a grudge? Say we have, someone done us wrong. We have an injustice that's been done to us. If we seek revenge either mentally, we're thinking about what we want to do to them, or whatever it is, or we actually do something outward toward that other person, we create more inharmony. We give more energy to that which we don't want in our experience, right? We're adding fuel to the fire, essentially. And two wrongs don't make a right, right? But if we can forgive and forget, then we free ourselves and the other person for a restoration of harmony in our lives, which is really what I think we want to do. But some people may protest, and they may say that it's not always easy to forgive. They may even say it's not possible for them to forgive. Or if they can forgive, then they can't forget. Well, guess what? With God's help, it's always possible to do both, to not carry that energy, that dark energy in you any longer. So we begin this process of forgetting an offense by refusing absolutely to harbor any anger or resentment in our energy. We just choose not to do it. When our thoughts dwell on an injustice, we live it over and over again, and we suffer accordingly. And guess what, y'all? It brings more of that to us. When we deliberately turn to prayer and thoughts of love and understanding, we feel grateful for God's love and generous and forgiving toward the one that offended us. We change our minds, and then we change the whole situation. We change our energy, we change our life. We change our thoughts, we change our life. So it's important to look for, and this is not easy for some, to look for the Christ Spirit in the other person. We believe that God is in all people, right? All the time. So we have to look for the good in that other person. Look for the Christ in that one that you think done you wrong. And then, if you can do that, if you can see the God self in the other person, you are truly ready to pray in full confidence, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Then you can say that. And you can mean it, and you can believe it, and you can feel it. So the unity principles that this lesson is about, there's two. The first one is what? God is all there is. God is all there is. Something good comes from everything. So that's principle one. If God is all there is, you don't think that this happened for some reason? That there's something that you're learning? Right? There's a takeaway from here. And the second principle is principle 3, which is God is, I am, I think. So what are you thinking about? What are you focusing on? What are you giving your energy to? You want to give it to forgiveness work. You don't want to carry that baggage around with you. So we know our thoughts create our reality. And when we hold thoughts of love, guess what? We create peace. We create peace in our world. So there's such a healing power in this forgiveness work. When we forgive, we clear our inner vision to see as God sees. We are God in expression, right? We're the hands, the feet, the eyes, the ear, the mouth. We're God in expression. So when we clear out all that muck, then we can see with our God eyes. We can see everything from a higher consciousness. And then when we do that, healing just flows naturally in and through us when we can do that mighty work. So forgiveness dissolves barriers and it restores harmony. And it's just a practice of aligning with the Christ that's already in us. So you want to know the steps? You know this, the practical teaching. This is practical Christianity. So the number one thing is you have to acknowledge the hurt. We're not here to bury stuff, but you have to feel it honestly and without judgment, whatever it was, and then you have to bless and release. You have to affirm the other person's divine nature, and you have to love and bless them for whatever this gift was they presented to you in this lifetime. And then you have to forgive yourself for feeling bad about it, for any guilt or any regret that you might have or that you might still carry about this person. And then you choose freedom. That's the last step. Each and every time that memory comes into your mind, guess what you do? I love you, I bless you, I appreciate you, I behold the Christ in you. That's what you do every time that memory pops up. So in unity, our practical teachings are that we deny and then we affirm. So we have to take something away. So we deny, we create a denial like this resentment has no power over me. This jealousy, this anger, this bitterness has no power over me. And then we affirm it. Love and peace are active in me now. Or whatever words bring you comfort. Change your thinking, change your life. Recently, Vivian Walthall did a wonderful book study on a book by Dr. Jim Dencalci. I hope I'm saying that right. In his book, How to Forgive When You Can't, he says there are some detrimental myths that we carry around that keep us from doing this mighty forgiveness work that's going to help us feel so much better. And number one is we think we have to apologize. We think an apology is necessary to the person. No. Number two is that if we forgive, we're condoning harmful acts. No, we're not. We're not condoning the behavior, right? We're forgiving the person for having the behavior. There's a big difference there. Number three is that if we forgive, we're coming from a place of weakness. The exact opposite is true. We're coming from a place of strength, right? The fourth one is that if you forgive, you have to actually reconcile with that person. Absolutely, you do not. You don't have to ever be around them again if you don't want to. You can do this work long distance. The person could have passed into spirit. You can still do the forgiveness work. If it's what's holding you down and giving you the pain and causing you illness, you can do the forgiveness work no matter what. And the last one is that if you forgive, it causes you to be hurt again because you've turned the other cheek. Heck no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He also explains, this man has studied forgiveness work and written and taught for 27 years. So he knows what he's talking about. He says, we struggle with this forgiveness battle because we're often split between our highest self and our basic survival self. So what is that? Our God self and our ego, right? Balance and trying to be more spiritual, but, humanness comes in, right? 100% human, 100% divine. We battle with that all the time when we're trying to do this forgiveness work, because when we're in survival mode, we are separate. We are depressed. We are revengeful. But when we're in our higher self, we know the true goal is peace, right? And love. And you know how you know when you've forgiven? I love this. When he or she has harmless passage through your mind. Wow. When you can think about them and not have any prickly feelings any longer, you know you've let it go, right? And you have peace. So we want to live in a place of forgiveness. We want to be the Christed being that we came here to be, to live from that place of love. And so forgiveness becomes a lifestyle. It is a state of consciousness. It's a way of staying in divine flow all the time. And when we are there, we live lighter, we love deeper, and we serve more freely because we don't have all that crap we're carrying around. Those mountains on our back. Remember Bob Simon's song? We realize when we're doing this work and we're seeing the results of doing the forgiveness work, we realize that in this too was a gift. This person, you probably had a soul contract with them, and you decided before you came to earth, they're going to do this to you, and you're going to learn through it, and you're never going to have to do it again. You see what I'm saying? If God is all there is, it's all good no matter what. No matter what. So we believe in forgiving, and then we become instruments of peace. We become instruments of God's grace. Have you heard of the Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian blessing? Oh, it's like a mantra. It's like a mantra. Robin talks about it in the book. It's, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. That's all it is. Those 4 statements. Can we say it together? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And it translates this way: to cause things to move back into balance. Don't you want more balance in your life? I do. Yeah. Okay, so that's the way it is. Enough preaching, time for a joke. So an angel appeared at a staff meeting. I know. It was a faculty meeting, actually, and told the dean that in return for his unselfish and exemplary behavior, the Lord was going to reward him with a gift, and he gets to choose infinite wealth, wisdom, or beauty. Well, he didn't even think about it. He said, infinite wisdom. I want infinite wisdom. And the angel said, done. And then he burst away in a puff of smoke, a lightning bolt. He just goes away, and the people are stunned. They're looking at the dean, and he's kind of sitting there in this smoky haze, looking a little bit stunned. And one of them leaned over, and the dean, in his infinite wisdom, the guy said, say something. And the dean said, I should have taken the money.
That's real wisdom.
Infinite wisdom, right. You just now got it? Okay. So this book, Mindful Moments, that Unity puts out, it's got some wonderful things in it. And I'm going to close today with, this was actually a daily word at some time, so I just want you to take in these words, please. When I seek to lighten the heaviness of my soul and heart, I consider what forgiveness work I may need to do to feel free. Forgiving does not mean condoning another's behavior or pretending it did not hurt. Rather, it is a process to facilitate my healing and increase the lightness of my spirit. Forgiveness does not have to involve seeing or speaking to the person I need to forgive. Perhaps that is possible only through a soul-to-soul silent exchange. I rely on divine love and wisdom in me to guide me through my forgiveness practice. Every step I take leads me to feel free of the weight I have been carrying. I go forward lighter and ever ready to live more fully, refreshed and invigorated. And that's what I hold for each of you. God bless. Thank you. And now we have an opportunity to give from our good into this beautiful community. So we take our gifts in our hands, or some of you have given online through Breeze. We're so grateful for those automatic gifts that come to us every week. So let's say our blessing together. Divine love through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, that this is so.